All right, here we are for the first round. We have won the die roll. We're absolutely going to be on the play here. And this looks like a perfectly keepable hand. Yeah, I think I'm just going to fire off the turn one Thoughtseize here. That's going to pave the way for the next turn for us. We're going to get to see if we want to just leave Remand up, try to make sure we hit our land drops and stunt our opponent's growth, or if we'd like to just slam Una's Prowler. So let's see what he's working with here. Ye old Thoughtseize. Alrighty then. Wow. Edric, Jace, Repeal, Search. Man, his deck looks kind of cool, actually. Let me take a quick snapshot. So he's leaning really hard on the Search for tomorrow, so we're probably going to want to remand that. We could also just take it. We could just take it from his hand. Maybe I'll just take it away. He can't cast anything forever if he does. I mean, he can cast a Repeal if he draws blue, but yeah, let's just take Search. All right. He kept a risky one, and let's see if he draws out of it now. This sort of Body and Mind could do serious work against him for sure. So let's get Una's Prowler. So right now the plan is just to go Una's Prowler into sort of Body and Mind, equip it, and just hit him. I mean, we could have just put him 5 turns back with that Thoughtseize. I mean, that could have really just kind of been it. Let's see if he misses a drop. He does not. He immediately finds mana. Okay. I think I like just snuffing out here, actually. Yeah, I'm going to do that. So let's kill that thing. I don't want him to be able to dig for stuff that he can actually cast. I mean, it's going to be slow for him either way, but you know, I certainly don't want him to like draw a forest and be able to dig up for a birds and all of a sudden just be like right back in this thing. All right, so let's attack here. Let's see if he wants to discard. He's got 5 cards in hand. But the good news is after we get the sword equipped, it's going to be much less of an issue. Our ideal sequence goes, I cast sword here, it resolves, and then next turn we draw a land so that I can equip and have Remand up. I think that would put us in a pretty brutal position here. He does, if he draws a land though, he has Repeal in his hand. So his hand right now is Edric, Jace, Repeal, Treachery, Voice, and an unknown card. All right, we did it. So go for the big equips here. And ship. I mean, he's almost forced to discard like 3 here just to not take anything, which... All right, he pitches Terracodon, so that's the one we knew about. All right, he's just going to do it once, though, so we still get to just get a huge mill and get to see a bunch of his deck here, and then we're just going to pass a turn. So he's got Blink, Coast, a ton of lands. There's a Green Sun. There's a Noble Hierarch, so that's something he could have searched up with his Fauna Shaman as an example. Now, though, he's just in a horrific position. He's going to go for... Oh, he's going to go for a Lotus Cobra here. You know, I think I'm just going to let him have that, actually. I'm just going to keep Remand up here. I'll play the Diagraph Ghoul. Alright, so now we're getting more sword triggers, and things are just getting ugly for him. Ooh, there's a Pride Mage, a Diamond, Force of Will, Daze. Alright, so that's a great one to know about. We can consider playing around it. It looks like his mana is actually pretty sketchy. He looks blue-green splash white, but he does have a Pride Mage, a Voice, a Momentary Blink, a Savannah Lions randomly, and a Condemn. So, yeah, his white mana is pretty important here. And we're just going to play this guy and say go. This way, I mean, he has to use his resources for this Lotus Cobra, like his land drop for his Lotus Cobra. And when we remand whatever it is, it means he's going to have to find another land drop to make it work again. And that just doesn't seem really tenable long term. Feel like Bane of the Living's probably worth it here. I mean, we could really get him with it. And I'm definitely considering Tendrils as well. Bring in a Tendrils. Hits a lot of important stuff, but it's pretty expensive. I think I'd rather just have the Bane. What are we going to replace it with? I don't know. Maybe a Hymn. I mean, Hymn's fine, but looking at what we saw from his deck, it seems okay. It seems like maybe not the best, but not awful either. Probably still worth it. Mesmeric Fiend seems quite good versus him. We didn't really see much removal. He had like a Treachery and a Repeal, but outside of that, Condemn, I don't remember really seeing much that just outright killed stuff. So that's good for us. Snuff Out, these are all good. The Reaver actually looks quite strong versus him as well. Feel like I want all the counter spells I can get. Maybe the Grave Robber. Yeah, we'll try that. All right, what do we have here? Sanctum, Remand. Yeah, this is a sweet hand. It lacks the early game Thoughtseize that we had before, but so it goes. What did he do? Oh, he suspended Search for Tomorrow. All right. Okay, yeah, let's just kick it off with the Sanctum here. All right, so things much better for him. This game is going to get off to a quick start with his Search for Tomorrow. It's also going to fix his mana. So, yeah, we'll see where this leads us, but could get a little sketchy for us here. Zenith for 1, so probably going to get a Noble Hierarch. Yeah, all right, well, he's going big here, no doubt about that. So first things first, let's get this Una's Prowler on. I want to get some pressure on the battlefield before start leaving up a Remand mana. I mean, if it was my straight up counterspell, I might consider differently, but remanding this thing isn't that great. I mean, you send it back to his hand and then he just immediately casts it. I mean, sure, you get a card and you put a little tempo on it, but it's not like a blowout or anything. He can still cast it this turn. So I think I'd rather just begin with the pressure. And basically what we're going to try to do is get sort of body and mind going. And plan A is just hope that it sticks and he can't deal with it. That would work just fine. If that's not the case, then Graveborn Muse is going to have to pull its fair share of the weight. All right, what has he got? Wow. What's going on? Natural Order for Terrastaton. Holy, this guy went deep. Let's see what he targets. Is he just going to load up his board with guys? No, he's going to take mine out. Well, this is an issue. I mean, theoretically, I win this race, but Yeah, all right. Attack. Pretty brutal. What was that, a turn 3 Terastodon he has? Something like that. Alright, well that's annoying because it makes this a 2-turn clock and it destroys my sword. So, it's extremely annoying. Ugh, yeah, that's like really bad for us now that I look. Really, really bad. Because one of our big game plans was to swing with everything here. Well, there's a Thoughtseize. Alright, well, let's just attack with 2 of these. We have 1 to chump block with, and we've got a remand. Go ahead. Yeah. And so we're just dead here. So he's repealing our elephant token, which I mean is certainly one of the risks that we have, but sitting back isn't an option versus this thing. We can't just start letting him abyss us away here. I can remand this, but then he just untaps and does it anyway and then kills us. So I'm just going to concede. I don't want to show him that we have remand. All right. I don't think that there's anything we'd change here, though. No, just run it back. It turns out Terastodon's a good one. We'll play first. A bunch of enters the battlefield tap lands, but they're also going to enable a turn 3 Gatekeeper, so we're going to keep this one. If we draw another black mana source here, does it matter which one I do? I suppose not. I'd rather draw a land here. If we draw the Underground River, that's fine, or Underground Sea, that's fine. I would like to get this thing in the air. That's why I was saying that, but we'll see. All right, search for tomorrow again. Yeah, there's a Drowned Catacomb. So, yeah, I guess I can do it. It means I don't get to turn 4 Braids, which is a little awkward. But I think I'm going to get good value off of Gatekeeper here. Yeah, I think I'm just going to try to curve out here. I mean, I can also just draw lands. So we'll suspend this guy, say go. And then hopefully he plays a creature of some type this next turn. If he doesn't, though, we can also just play Vesuvian Shapeshifter. We can also play Bad River and try to set up Braids if we don't get an untapped land here. So we've certainly got options. If we hit a counter spell, I'll probably try to counter his search. It looks like his deck is leaning on it pretty hard. But any creature he plays, if he plays one here, is going to get Gatekeepered. Zenith, yeah, alright, so that thing's going to get Gatekeepered. We did hit an untapped land, so that means that we can throw Braids down next turn if we want. And we might just do that. All right, so he's got all of his mana. There's Jace. But if he wants to draw, then there's a decent chance that it dies, though he could also have Condemn. No, he both drew, so he probably doesn't have Condemn here. Mox Diamond. What are you getting rid of? A forest? All right. Well, he's making Braids look a lot worse here. I want to let me... There we go. Ooh. That's decent. Yes. I think I'm going to go Liliana's Reaver, copy it, and then play Braids. Because I can also copy... If he does something huge creature-wise, I can also just copy that. Alright, so let's attack Jace. I'm assuming he wants to trade off his Savannah Lions here. And that's kind of what I want. Alright, he did. So, he's going to have to respect this thing. And then next turn, we can start shapeshifting. If he plays something big, then we'll consider shapeshifting that too. He's got 6 mana right now. Worst case scenario, he plays Treachery and steals our Reaver. And then does something else. That would be pretty backbreaking. All right, well, here comes the Cloud Skate. Not sure what he has planned here. Maybe Force of Will? No? Alright, so what do I want to bounce? Mox Diamond seems like the obvious thing because it makes him discard another card if he wants to replay it. Otherwise, I could discard Jace. Make him spend a bunch of mana to try to get it back down again. I mean, he clearly has something to deal with the Reaver. He wouldn't just let it kill Jace. He also only has 3 cards. Yeah, I think I'm just going to get a little iffy here and take out this Mox Diamond while I can. And there's a Slaughter Pact, which shouldn't do anything here. I think I want to send the Reaver over here and the Cloud Skate here. I also could just kill Jace here, though. Yeah, I guess I'll just kill Jace. Or attempt to. I'm assuming that the Reaver's going to get killed or destroyed. Something's going to happen to it here. Oh, it doesn't? Well, that's interesting. So now I have to decide if I want to Braids. I think I just want to Braids here then. This has got to get Force of Will, right? Just hard cast Force of Will or something. How can he just do nothing for this whole turn? Yeah, there it comes. All right. So this is going to set up, though, Vesuvian Shapeshifter for either Liliana's Reaver or Riftwing Cloud Skate. All right, he's got Forbid with Buyback. All right, so we know that he has Forbid in hand. But the good news is he doesn't really have, like, he's going to have to tap out here or do something. All right, that's fine. So he's got Forbid, but he can't buy back anything. I'm trying to decide if I need to slaughter pack this this thing. I think I do. Because if I slaughter packed it, then I'm going to hit him with Liliana's Reaver, and that's going to take the forbid out of his hand and get me a guy, and then I can still this turn 1, 2, 3. Now, if I draw a land, I can still play Shapeshifter as a morph. Yeah, I think I'm going to go for it here, though. Not really because I care about Lotus Cobra that much, but just because I can get that stupid forbid out of his hand. Like, what he has to do is forbid here so that he can chump block the Reaver anyway, or just keep his Lotus Cobra around in some way. So either way, he gets it out of his hand. If he just lets it die, yeah, that's what I want to do. If he just wants to let it die, then I just go to combat and take that forbid out of his hand and get a zombie. So really, he just has to counter here. And then I don't have to pay anyway. And then I can Vesuvian Shapeshifter my Cloudskate if I want, bounce the Lotus Cobra and get that out of here too. Got a lot of options here. Let's see what we draw though. Lacerator. All right. Lacerator seems fine here, but do I want to shapeshift something? I mean, I could just shapeshift the Reaver and say, here, deal with 2 Reavers, or I could play Riftwing Cloudskate, bounce his Lotus Cobra. I mean, I could play Shapeshifter. Maybe I should do that. Yeah, I think I'll do that because then the next turn I can just turn it into a Reaver anyway. So let's just use it as a removal spell to make sure that we get this Liliana's Reaver through and get that zombie token going. Also hit him for 6, by the way. Yeah, I like that because then I can use the flexibility of Shapeshifter later to turn it into a Reaver, hit him for a million, make sure that he has to cast anything that he draws, which he probably will anyway, but still, he must do that. So get rid of this thing. All right. Cobra down. We get a zombie. And now he is in dire straits here. Let's crack this bad river here during our upkeep. Just gets one more land out. And then I would like to turn this creature face down. How do I do it? Ah, yes. Okay, and there's a Bloodghast. It has haste if my opponent's at 10 or less, but they're not. So let's just morph this guy and hit you for 12. Discard Momentary Blink. Yeah, that's kind of one of those conditional cards. I'm not going to bother playing anything else here. And that should do it. It says GG's, which is also generally a good sign for us. All right. So we were able to figure it out and get through the Bant deck there. We'll see how we do in the second round.